Hi, my name is April Whitt. I'm one of the astronomers at Fernbank Science Center in Atlanta, Georgia. Welcome to the sky this week for November 22nd through the 30th. We give thanks this week for bright planets and bright stars in the southwest part of the sky at sunset. And toward the end of this week, beginning of next week, we have a penumbral eclipse of our moon. At the beginning of the week, if you look toward the southwest part of the sky, go outside, find your observing place, place your right shoulder in the direction where the sun goes down, that's the direction west, and you'll be facing south. Southwest, a little bit toward your right, there are some bright planets on the evening sky. They look like bright stars. Jupiter and Saturn, two largest planets in our solar system, are visible in the early evening sky just as the sun is setting. A little higher on the sky and a little more toward the west, there are three bright stars that make a giant triangle on the sky. This is a really big triangle out on the real sky. Connect those up into a triangle shape. Sometimes that group is called the summer triangle. For us in the Northern Hemisphere, in July and August, when it's summertime, those three stars are practically at the top of the sky, near the zenith, for us in the summer. But Earth has moved along our orbit a bit in the last few months. Now those three stars are visible not at the top of the sky, but farther down toward the western horizon. Still, maybe halfway up the sky, bright stars. Each star is in a different constellation, and each constellation is supposed to be some kind of a bird. The star Vega, the brightest of those three, is part of a constellation called Lyra, a lyre, a little stringed musical instrument. The swan, Cygnus, with bright deneb at the end of its tail, makes a large cross shape in the southwest part of the sky. And Aquila the eagle is the third of those three. If you pretend with a real good imagination that you can actually see those birds, the star Deneb for Cygnus the swan, diving down the Milky Way, the vulture carrying Lyra, the lyre of Orpheus, his little harp, carrying it to the underworld, and Aquila, the proud eagle, farthest over toward the east. Toward the east, southeast part of the sky, the planet Mars is a really bright pinkish star-like object, what we can see from Earth. Mars is a little farther from the sun than Earth is, and as Earth is moving along our orbit these days, we're moving away from Mars as we're moving along, and so Mars over the next month or so will not be quite as bright as it has been for the last couple of weeks. Watching where the moon is in relation to Mars is a fun thing to do this week. On Monday, the 23rd, the moon and Mars are fairly far apart, with the moon quite a bit toward the right of where Mars is on the sky. By the next night, moon has moved along its orbit. It looks like it's a little bit closer toward Mars. And on Wednesday, the 25th, the moon and Mars are fairly close together on the sky. You'll see a waxing gibbous moon, fat moon, not quite full, but getting there. And Mars will be the bright star-like object just above it on the southeastern part of the sky. The moon will be full on Monday, the 30th of November, really early in the morning. And this year, as the moon is moving along, it will move through part of Earth's shadow and be a little darker, even though it's the full moon. If you look down on the north pole of everything from out in space, Earth's north pole, Earth casts a long shadow, cone-shaped shadow, about 870,000 miles long, out into space. Sometimes as the moon is moving along its orbit, it passes through that shadow. And this year, we get an eclipse. Not a dark, full, blood red, total lunar eclipse. This one is pretty pale in comparison, but fun to look for. If you look at that shadow in cross section, it's sort of bullseye shaped. There's a dark ring in the center, the umbra, and there's a paler shadow, a ring around the umbra, the penumbra. That's what the moon will be moving through along its orbit on the 30th. And this is about 4:45 in the morning. Like I said, before 5 o'clock in the morning, you want to get up really early. Make sure the weather is clear. Make sure you can see the moon easily. And it's going to be very faintly paler, maybe a little dusty looking along the north part of the top part of the moon. Worth looking for if you've got the time and the inclination to get up that early. Thanks very much for listening. Check Fernbank's website for the information about when we'll be reopening. Keep an eye out for bright planets and bright stars. Thanks again for listening. Have a great week.